I was like not... It's not that I was proud. I remember telling you guys that I was a little bit like embarrassed to admit that I'm Indonesian. I come from Indonesia and I am Indonesian. So for a long time, I was like really embarrassed to admit that I was Indonesian. And then I was really embarrassed to like show anyone anything to do with Indonesia. Like, don't get me wrong, like I love Indonesia. I love my own country, you know what I mean? But then it's one of those things that like, if I tell you guys about my country and then people are just like, oh, I can't, that's so weird. Or like, that's so bad. Like weird in brackets bad. Not weird like interesting, but weird bad. Or like, you know what I mean? Because I remember back then at one point, I would be like, oh, this is how we do it in my country. And people are like, what the f***? You guys are so weird, like in a bad way. Or like, you guys are so behind the times in a bad way. You know what I mean? So I was so like embarrassed about it because I'm like, I don't want people to think that like, I don't want people to think I'm lame. So I'm like, oh, I'm kind of embarrassed to show people Indonesia or anything about Indonesia and all that good stuff. And I don't, like, most people aren't like that. I see that now, but it's literally because of one bad experience. I'm not even, like, I wish it was like, it happened over. No, it was one bad experience because I was telling people, like, I forgot what it even was about. Oh, basically I was telling someone like, oh, this is how we do it in Indo. And they're like, that's kind of disgusting. And I'm like, oh. And it wasn't even like a disgusting fact. It was just a normal thing. And I was like, oh, right. Oh. So I was like, oh, damn. If I talk too much about Indonesia, what if they think I'm disgusting and I am embarrassed? So I got one guide. But I was young. You know what I mean? Like I was young and I got one guide. And what was the fact? I don't even remember. I don't even remember what I was showing, but I was showing it off with pride. You know, it wasn't like, hey guys, you know this. It's like I was showing off something that I was actually proud of about my country. And then they were like, that's kind of disgusting. And I was like, ah! And then it stuck. Like, you know, it's one of those things that it's like, it's one comment, but it got stuck in your head so bad that you're like, shit, I'm never gonna do that again. You know, it's like, because I don't want to ever hear that again. So I was so embarrassed. But then ever since, that subathon changed a lot for me. One of the things I talked about it, we did walkies in Bali, right? And I mean, I even chose Bali because it's one of the more like tourist safe places. But when we did the walkies in Bali, I asked Sui to like show off whatever he wants. And Sui also knows this because I was like struggling about it. Don't get me wrong, I've always been proud of my own country. And I'm very proud of like being Indonesian. Let me just put on some bossa nova music. So I've always been proud of being Indonesian, but I'm also like afraid that people would look down on me because I'm Indonesian, because of like what happened in the past, you know? So I was like telling Sui about it, and Sui showed you guys a lot. And then there's so many things that I thought you guys would be like, that's really fucking weird, or like that's really fucking odd, but you didn't do that, and then you actually liked it, and then chat was like really interested, and then you guys were like telling me how cool it was, or how cool that like the fact that you didn't know about it and now you know about it. I know, I was like, chat, that really helped me a lot, but I don't think you really know how much it helped me, because I'm like, slowly but surely I am not as, I don't know, like embarrassed / ashamed of my own culture, and I'm like, oh my god, I can finally show off more things. So that's the time I locked into having an Indo-inspired model, because I've always wanted to have like a Halloween model. I wanted it to be like Indo-inspired, but I was still struggling with it. You know what I mean? Like I was still struggling. And don't get me wrong, every country has its plus and minuses. You know, I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's my own country, that the minuses of my own country made me like, I kind of locked out a little. But because of that, I'm finally less and less like, I'm coming out of my shell, you know? And then now we have this. Yeah, and that is literally because of your reactions, like how well I don't know, you guys showed me so much love during that subathon Indo walkie that I have finally gotten the confidence to do more stuff I actually want to do. So thank you, chat. This model literally would not be here without you guys. I know I kind of feel bad admitting it, because then people are like, wow, you're Indonesian, but you're ashamed of your own country. Well, yes. Because at that time, yes. There's a lot of things that was going on at that time.
Some people
were weird.
think things that are out of the ordinary are cool and interesting.
Yeah!
Other people are boring assholes. So glad we got an Indo-inspired outfit.
Yay!
That was literally my first thought when we did the outfit contest.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy that people are getting more interested because I think there's a lot of super interesting things from my own culture because we have so many. Like, Indonesian culture is so hard to describe because every area has its own culture and its own tradition, its own traditional outfit, traditional food, traditional music and dance. There's so many. Cow goes moo, what the hell? Thank you for the 50 giftaroonies again. Also, Cow, you scared the living shit out of Ollie the other day. Ollie was like, what the what the what the and I was like, what the hell? You scared the living shit out of her. God damn, Cow. Yeah, I feel bad admitting that at one point in my life I was so ashamed of my own culture because I know like people in Indo would also be like, damn, you were like that? Well, yeah, because back then, like I'm talking, this is years and years and years ago, people I was trying to make friends with, you know, people abroad, right? Like I was amazed, you know what I mean? Like, I try to learn English, and then I want to talk with people that can help me improve my English speaking skills. And then I want to learn about their culture, and I want to learn, like, what they do, how their countries look like, how they do things. Like, I was super curious. So when I finally made friends that were not Indonesians, I was, like, super excited. It's one of those things that I just want to impress them, you know? Like, I want to impress them. I want to be friends with them. So then hearing them kind of, like, be like, oh, you're from Indo, and this is what you do in Indo? That's really kind of gross. Like, you're kind of gross. I was like, oh, shit. So that was what got me locked out. But I realize now that literally some people are like that, but not all. A majority of people are actually not assholes. I felt like that for the Philippines too. They don't understand it, so they would be like, what? So I felt insecure. Yes! Oh my god. Dude, I felt so guilty admitting that though. You know what I mean? Like, I felt guilty admitting it because I don't think there's anything to be ashamed about or embarrassed about your culture. But I think it was just the timing of everything. I was like, shit, you know? Like some people would say random comments that are just a little bit odd. I'm trying to think what the context was. Oh, wait. I think I remember. I think one time... Oh, wait. I don't think that's the case. I can't remember. All I remember was the comment.
As someone who can't travel as much as I want to, I always feel like I'm missing out on so much of the world. And that definitely makes me sad. So, when you did your walkies, I was re-inspired to learn more languages. So that one day, when I visit those countries, I can be able to interact and enjoy the experience fully. But also to learn more stories in native tongues, and I have your subathon to thank for that. So thank you for being a trendsetter, Michi Mochi.
Trendsetter by air. But it's
Never
because
let
of you
anyone
guys
make you
too.
feel bad about who you are or where you are from. It's all part of what makes each of us amazing, including you.
Man.
Big mad at the person who made you feel that way, Michi. We are
To
happy
be
you're
fair-
willing to share your country and culture with us. Thank you for sharing.
Literally, it's because of you guys that I'm finally like fully, you know, like I'm slowly like getting out of it. I've always been proud of my own culture, but I like telling people about my culture. I also like hearing about your cultures. I always find it so interesting. And it's because of you guys that I can open up more. So thank you. I really appreciate that. I think it's just back then, people were a little bit more insensitive. You know what I mean? Like, okay, in my defense, in their defense, or in defense of a lot of things, in like the early 2000s, y'all, people were just... the internet was just... People just said shit, you know? Like, nowadays, people are like different, but back then, people are just like, oh my god, you eat with your hands? You're a disgusting animal, actually. And you're like, oh, okay. I'll be like, I think it's something beautiful. Like, here, we just eat with our hands. Like, oh, that's fucking disgusting. You're kind of like an animal. And you're like, oh, I don't do that. I don't because I'm not, you know. And then you're like stammering, trying to defend yourself, and you're like, oh shit. But nowadays it's different. There's the idea. So the idea of like eating with your hands, obviously you wash your hands, right? But the beautiful idea of eating with your hands is so then you actually can appreciate the food you eat. Because like it takes effort to eat with your hands is the best I can say it. Because we don't eat like, if you eat a drumstick with your hand, that's easier. But we eat rice, you know? Like we eat rice, saucy foods, anything with your hands. And the idea is you're supposed to be able, like, you know, the process of the food. You can actually like portion yourself as well. Because you have to go through that effort of balling it to put in your mouth. It's a very like us connecting to the food and the world type beat. Plus it's just fun. I don't know. Eating with your hands makes the food taste better, and I don't know how to explain that. So, Yeah, I genuinely, you guys have changed so much to me that now I can debut this model. I'm usually not as nervous debuting models because I have so fucking much. But this, I was so nervous for this. I was like, I can't even eat. I'm too nervous. I can't even eat when this is happening, man. But yeah, I'm so happy you like it.
There's
Give me a
still
round of
debates
applause for
about the
chat.
going. Just saw one a few weeks ago on Twitter, and it's so incredibly cringe and ridiculous that people genuinely give a shit
Right?
about how MFS eat with their hands. We got too much free time on our hands, bro.
I'm telling you, it hits different. It's also really fun, and it's a community thing. It's so fun. I think one of my favorite memories is when I was younger, my mom would like you know when your parents hand feed you? My mom would hand feed me with her hand. And that is weirdly a very comforting thing. Because when, this is like a, I don't know, maybe it's a cultural thing. But when I was sick as a kid, your mom would like hand feed you, right? And then she, like, having your mom hand feed you when you're sick as a kid is a core memory thing. You know what I mean? It's like, it's stuck in my head. Yeah, it's like the same feeling. Like, you know when people, like, you pack your lunch and then people are like, oh, your lunch stinks. And it's like, it's just a comment that gets stuck in your brain for no reason. And you have that fear of like hiding it away. I get that. But now I'm more open. I see the beauty of my own culture more. And it's all thanks to you, so I really appreciate it. Let me zoom out from this model so you can see it one more time. I am so in love with this, man. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Talking about hands, chat, we're gonna be doing a hand cam stream later
We may
today.
make fun of you and everything, but at the end of the day, never change and always be your whimsical self, Michi.
Oh my god, you wanna know something? I think you've also changed the type of person that I am too. No joke. Y'all know this, but I have really bad social anxiety, right? It used to be worse. I've gotten so much better to the point that my family members have noticed. And my family members do not know this shit. Like, you can go bald one day and my family members would not know this. But even they've noticed. They're like, oh my god, you're so much more open. And you're so different. You've grown. And I'm like, really? It's like, yeah. You're not as shut-in, you know? And I'm like, and it's all thanks to you guys. Because nowadays, back then, if let's say I get invited to like a family event, I would just be like quiet. You know, I'd be quiet and I'm like, or I would not even come. Like, I would not attend. I would seclude myself and I wouldn't talk because I'm really anxious about everything. But I've gone better to the point that I start conversations, chat. I mean, it is with my family members. Like, my big family. My cousins, my aunts and uncles. I start a conversation. Do you believe that? I'd be like, hello! And then I would compliment them and stuff. And I could actually do it. Yup. I've reached that point now. And even they have noticed. They were like, wow, you've like really gone out of your shell recently. And I'm like, beep, 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 beep. The strat now is I like to think to myself, people are probably also anxious. And you know what? I love being whimsical. At first, I was like, I'm gonna be honest. When I started streaming, I was like, whimsy is only for the stream, right? Like, on stream, I will be a bit more happy-go-lucky. But behind the scenes, I was not very happy-go-lucky. Like, I was overthinking a lot, and I was stressing a lot. I had a lot of anxieties in my brain. You know, the brain worms were massive, right? But recently, I've been actually just whimsying anytime. Like, off stream, I'm just like, okay. It is what it is, IRL. It is what it is. And it works.
I have
It
returned.
works.
Hearing you
Welcome
talk
back.
about your culture, I will say honestly and wholeheartedly, I work with a lot of Filipinos and Indonesians and many from different countries. With my current position, interacting with y'all has motivated me to learn new languages. Plus, I love nasi goreng dishes. No, W to take care of my beloved Jared and Chat.
I will take care of Jared. I don't know about chat. Pummels. When I get my hands on you, chat. Fists. Okay, that sounds bad. I mean, like, you know, like fist on palm, you know? You hear that? Fist on palm. Okay. Oh, right. Me when I root, right. Actually, I met an Indonesian during my meet and greet. That was my first time. I had a meet and greet in Toronto yesterday. And I met an Indonesian. That's crazy. They were like, hello, apa kabar? And I'm like, hey, wait. Do you just know apa kabar? And they're like, no, I'm Indonesian. And I'm like, and then we just started speaking in Indo. That is crazy. Meeting an Indonesian in Toronto. That is crazy.